Now, hours after Donald Trump claimed that he'd spoken to Prime Minister Modi over the India-China border standoff, sources have claimed that there wasn't any conversation between the US President and Prime Minister Modi. Sources have told India Today that the last conversation between the two leaders was on 4th April on the subject of hydroxychloroquine. Trump has claimed that Prime Minister Modi wasn't in a good mood over the recent flare-ups with China. The US President also offered to mediate between India and China if both nations agree. However, the Ministry of External Affairs has said that they are engaged with the Chinese side to peacefully resolve the issue, which likely means that India doesn't want any third-party intervention at the moment.
I like Modi. I like your Prime Minister a lot. He's a great gentleman. We have a big conflict going with India and China. Two countries with 1.4 billion people. Two countries with very powerful militaries. And India's not happy, and probably China's not happy. But I can tell you, I did speak to Prime Minister Modi. He's not in a good mood about what's going on with China. If they thought it would help if I were the mediator or the arbiter, I would do that.
Our Foreign Affairs Editor Geeta Mohan is joining us with more details on this. Geeta, Donald Trump has been known to make these kind of statements in the past, but this has to be a first for him as well, to claim that he had a conversation, and that with no less than the Prime Minister of India, and then sources are telling you now that this conversation just didn't happen.
Well, that's right. Quite bizarre. We'll await clarification from the White House or the U.S. State Department as to what really happened and why is it that the president claimed that he had a conversation. Believe me, there have been...
Apologies, we've lost that connection with Geeta. We'll go back to her in just a bit. But the US President very categorically in his statement, in fact, while interacting with the media, said, and I quote, "I did speak to PM Modi and he is not in a good mood about what's going on with China." So that is the comment that Trump made. But sources are telling us that the last time Prime Minister Modi and Trump had a conversation was in April, was on hydroxychloroquine, and after that there's been no correspondence between the two leaders. So what exactly was Trump referring to when he said that he did have a conversation with Prime Minister Modi? Also questions on what was the intention behind making such a statement. Was it simply to go ahead and rile up China? Let's take that across to Geeta. Geeta, unfortunately we lost your connection earlier, but there are questions about really why Trump would make such a comment, whether it was just to rile up China, to in fact send across a message to China.
Well, very clearly, anything to do with China and China having problems with the country. We've seen the United States of America come out and make statements or give statements, and that has to do with how United States of America wants to take on China. But India-China is a very different and a very sensitive issue. The U.S. administration understands that. President Trump, I am not too sure whether he's been briefed on the situation on the ground and how India deals with China when it comes to the boundary question, and is the reason why he offered to mediate in the first place. But to come out with a statement and making up an entire conversation which has been denied by the Indian side is absolutely bizarre. We'll have to wait for an official word from the White House or the US State Department as to what really happened and why is it that President Trump is claiming that he had a conversation with Prime Minister Modi. The last conversation that they had was in April on the coronavirus pandemic and hydroxychloroquine that India was to send to America. But beyond that, when it comes to the LAC situation in India-China, India is very clear. A very, very carefully worded statement yesterday by Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson where he said that India is engaged with China to resolve things peacefully, which clearly means that India will not accept a third-party intervention or will not accept any kind of mediation from any third country, that they will resolve the issue bilaterally. And so in that vein, it seemed really unlikely that Prime Minister Narendra Modi would have had a conversation with President Trump on issues to do with China. Now we will again have to wait for a word from Washington, D.C.
Okay, Geeta, stay with us. Let me take this across to Major General S. Taplial, who's joining us on this broadcast. Thank you, sir, for speaking to us. What do you make of all that's happened? You know, you have a comment from Donald Trump where he says that he spoke to Prime Minister Modi. Sources telling us that no such conversation happened. It's a very sensitive issue that we're dealing with here. Do you believe that India should seek a clarification from the White House?
If you recall, quite some time back, Trump had said that he spoke to our Prime Minister and Pakistan Prime Minister about mediation in the Kashmir problem. And then it was denied by our Prime Minister that no such conversation took place. So apparently same thing must have happened this time also. I don't think any conversation has taken place between Mr. Trump and Modi.
Sir, do you feel that, you know, this comment by Trump has been made to rile up China, to send across a message to China by the United States?
Yeah, could be, because as you're watching things, Americans are using all, you know, various means to trouble China, if I may say so. Accusing it of the coronavirus spread, plus the Hong Kong new law which has been passed there. And the American Senate has passed a resolution that Tibet should not be a part of China and things like this. So this may well be a part of this strategy of troubling China.
Okay, Major General Taplial, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expert view on this comment and the developments that have come since Trump made this statement. Thanks to Geeta as well for joining us. Donald Trump claiming that he had a conversation with Prime Minister Modi, but sources telling us that there was no such correspondence. Very, very similar to what had happened, in fact, when Trump had claimed that he'd spoken to Prime Minister Modi on mediation with regards to the Kashmir issue and mediation between India and Pakistan.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.